What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Sands of Time here with another episode of Sands and Friends podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm at work right now, so this is in between a break. So we're going to get this NFL Week 6 recap. Go ahead and get that under our belt in between the break. Game of the week, guys. Game of the week was Washington at Baltimore. Baltimore wins 30-23. It was a battle of the black QBs, and Lamar Jackson comes out on top. The Ravens use a control game. They controlled the game the whole time, chewing up 484 total yards and controlling the clock for 36 minutes time of possession. Lamar passed for 323 and 1 TD. He also rushed for 40 yards on the day. Derrick Choo-Choo Henry rushed 24 times for 132 yards for 2 TDs. Then you had Zay Flowers get 9 catches, 132 on the day. You had Jaden Daniels put up 269 yards passing, 2 TDs, also rushed for 22 yards on the day. Zach Ertz led the Commanders with 68 yards receiving. Both teams are now 4-2 on the year. That was the game of the week recap. Next, we had the games that interest us. We had the Buccaneers at the Saints. No longer interesting. Bucks win 51-27. Buccaneers were up 17 in the first. They were down 3 at halftime, 27-24. Then they came back to just shut them out in the second half and blow them out in the second half and win big. Baker Mayfield, 4 TDs on the day. Sean Tucker stepping in, 136 yards and a TD. You got Godwin, 125 receiving yards and 2 TDs on the day. Spencer Rattler led New Orleans with 243 and a TD, while Kamara had 40 yards and a TD on the day for the Saints. Buccaneers win big. You had the Chargers and the Broncos. We were looking at this one because defenses were going to be there, and the Chargers D stepped up, okay? Chargers got up early and held on to beat Denver 23-16. Herbert passed for 237 and a TD. J.K. Dobbins, 96 yards and a TD. And Kamani Vidal had a 38-yard touchdown on the day. Bo Nix led the Broncos with 216 and 2 TDs in the loss. 61 rushing yards as well for the rookie. Cortland Sutton led the receivers with 53 yards and a touchdown on the day as the Chargers beat the Broncos. Next game that interests us was Lions at Cowboys. Detroit 47, Cowboys 9. Hey, Cowboys might have to get off this list. They disappointed like that. But they dominated the Cowboys in every way. Everybody scored a touchdown except Jahmyr Gibbs. Goff had 315 passing, 3 TDs. Jameson Williams caught a touchdown. Sam Laporta caught a touchdown. And Amon-Ra caught a touchdown at the end of the game. Montgomery had 80 yards rushing and 2 TDs. CeeDee Lamb led the Cowboys with 89 receiving yards. Gotta do better, Cowboys. Gotta do better. And last game that interests us was in London. Jaguars, and Bears. Bears win 35-16. Bears handled the Jags in London. Caleb Williams had 226 yards and 4 touchdowns on the day. Swift had 91 rushing with a TD on the ground. Cole Kmet had 70 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, also long snapping on the day. You had the Jaguars led by Trevor Lawrence, 234 yards, 2 TDs. Evan Ingram had 102 yards receiving for the Jaguars, but they need to get Etienne and that running game on track if they're going to win some games. Jaguars looking bad right now. Let's go. Those were the games that interest us in our mono matchups. We had Pat Surtain versus the Chargers wide receivers. Chargers, you got lucky. Pat Surtain got injured on the first defensive play for the Broncos, so he wasn't able to finish the game. So by attrition, the Chargers won. They still put up pedestrian numbers. The wide receivers only had like 44 and 48 yards, but they got the victory. And hey, they got the mano-a-mano win over Surtain. Then we had St. Brown versus Trayvon Diggs. St. Brown was held slightly in check for the game, but Detroit had all of their weapons on display, so they didn't really need them as much, okay? But St. Brown still got a TD on the day, and Diggs was beat by Jameson Williams on a long touchdown. So I'm going to give the win to St. Brown because he found the end zone, his team got the win, and Diggs got scored on. So St. Brown wins the mano-a-mano. The last mano-a-mano matchup was Aiden Hutchins versus Guyton and Terrence Steele. Aiden suffered a leg injury on a sack of big old Dak Prescott. But before he left the game, he had 3 tackles and 3 QB hit. I'm going to say Aiden Hutchins takes the win, but takes the loss as well on the season. We'll see how long he'll be out, but Aiden Hutchins wins that mano-a-mano matchup in the limited time he played. Those were our mano-a-mano matchup. Next, we got fantasy football starts and sits. This one was a little bit rough. Some of my sits outdid some of my starts, so we'll go over those. I'm just not picking just weak people to sit. I'm trying to give a challenge. Who's going to be a good performer, who's not going to perform, but this is the list. So we had Kirk Cousins, our starts. We had Kirk Cousins to repeat that same performance. He only got us 12.5 in fantasy. We had Derrick Henry, the starting running back. He got us 25.2. That's a start. We started Neighbors coming back from injury, but he wasn't able to return, and I didn't put a backup in, so we got 0 for Neighbors. He didn't play this week. We had Cole Kmet as a starting tight end. He got 24 points for you right there. Then we had started Atlanta defense against Carolina. They only got 6 points. Then you had Kai Fairburn. He got 11 points at the kicker position. So solid production through the lineup. You definitely could have had, it was some better defensive performances out there. The Bears definitely could have had some better wide receiver performances. Chris Godwin, a lot of other people. And you had some much better quarterback play. Baker Mayfield had a better. Lamar Jackson. You could have went some other areas. You could even went with the guy we sat. Bo Nix going into the sits. Bo Nix had 20.7 in fantasy. We had Josh Jacobs sitting at running back. He got you 12. We'll take 12 from a running back. I benched all the Patriots wide receivers, but the game was so out of question that they passed the ball a lot, and Demario Douglas actually had 92 yards in a TD and got us 21 points. And you had Kayshon Boutte had a touchdown, so the Patriots wide receivers were on the bench. They could have started for Neighbors, as Douglas had 21 and Boutte had 16. Tyler Conklin still got to play tonight for the Jets against Buffalo. And then we sat Washington defense, which was an excellent sit. They had a -2 points on the day. Then the kicker we sat was Aubrey from the Cowboys. He actually put up 12 points. So Kai, our starting kicker, gave us 11, but we were going to sit Aubrey because of that. But hey, he was the only one that scored points for the Cowboys. So those were our starts and sits. The last segment is the Pick Six. Let's go. So in my pick six, I picked 6 games, a 16 parlay that if you play, you're gonna win. Okay. You might have 2 L's last week. This week we went 5-1. So improvement. The only way to go is to get all 6 next week. Let's go. Let's go over the pick 6. I had Jacksonville over Chicago 24-21. Chicago wins 35-16. 0-1 right there for the week. Then I picked all the next 5. I had Cincinnati over the Giants 27-17. Win by 10 points. Cincinnati won by 10 points, 17-7. Got that one. Pittsburgh over the Raiders 24-10. Pittsburgh over the Raiders 32-13. 2-1 there. Houston over the Patriots 21-16. I picked the Patriots to cover the spread, but Houston said no way, no how. Houston 41, Patriots 21. 3-1 there, but we lost the spread. 2-2 on the spread. Philly over the Browns 31-17. Philly over the Browns 20-16. Got the win. Didn't get the spread. Then the last but not least was the game of the week. We picked Baltimore over Washington 27-21 to cover that spread of 7.5. But Baltimore 30, Washington 23. There we have it. Baltimore got me to 5-1 for the week. So 5-1 on that, 2-4 against the spread. On the season, we are 9-3 straight up and 6-6 against the spread. So we giving you some good picks. We giving you some solid picks. We giving you some winners now. They're not all hitting on my parlay, but maybe you can mix and match, or you know something else that can pair with it. But hey, that is the NFL recap for week 6, guys. If you enjoyed the NFL action, stay tuned for my NFL sports report, okay? Coming to you later in the week. Have a blessed day. Come back to see me. If you enjoyed it, share it with a friend. If you loved it, go ahead and subscribe and come on in. The water's just fine. Appreciate y'all tuning in to another Sands and Friends podcast. NFL Week 6, be out.